Guys, welcome back. Raw Danger here, bringing you a brand new PC review on the Dwarves, a well-hammered tale. This game is a tactical RPG. It's developed by King Arts Games, published by THQ Nordic, Euro Video Median. Its release date was December 1st, 2016, and the platforms it was released on was PS4, Xbox One, PC, and I currently reviewed it on PC. The launch price for this game is $39.99 USDs. Dwarves are a staple of the fantasy genre across all the mediums. You'll find them in every novel, movie, and game, and they often are lovable, hardly supporting characters, but rarely are there any leads. Overlooked in the short stature and affinity for digging beneath the ground, enter King Arts Games, The Dwarves, a tactical RPG that builds off of the novel of the same name by Marcus Heats. The game puts the spotlight on the Dwarves and features a strong narrative in real-time battles with an interesting take on the overworld map. The game's story takes center stage with its RPG structure, more supportive than essential, while its gameplay mechanics can be tough to manage, especially when the battles get really intense and really large, but offers very fun skill to learn, master, and beat. And I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I did not think I was actually going to like it as much. I broke it into the sections. We're going to cover features, story and setting, gameplay, design, and then an overall hardcore good review. Okay, the features. It features tactical real-time battles. Which means you're fighting hundreds of foes with just a handful of heroes. You can pause any time to tactically plan out your next smart move. With that being said, if you're in a real bind and you can't figure out how to beat the battle, go in one way, pause it, look at all your outcomes just like chess or playing pool. Where is the ball going to bounce or roll, and where are you going to make your next 4 moves? Crowd combat. All creatures in the battlefield are rendered with physical complexity. That's why the battles feel especially dynamic and real, enabling a lot of tactical finesse. And that was awesome. Most games for tactical RPGs don't show that a whole lot. And they really emphasize this in the game, and they did a really awesome job with the game they put out. It's got a really captivating story during the Dwarf Tungdal on his adventurous journey across Gerangdal. Sorry if I'm pronouncing some of these names wrong. I had trouble pronouncing them and keeping up with the names while playing the game. And the game was a ton of fun, and the story was easy to follow. Explore in the world, uncover secrets, learn more about the game world and its inhabitants, and solve optional puzzles. And I love games that do this. Time and time again, many developers do it, just like Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. All the big studios are doing it, and even the little ones nowadays like this. Delve into the world map. Gergandal ranges from snow-covered summits to shimmering deserts. You can move freely on the world map, meet numerous characters, and experience adventures. But beware, a lot of your actions on the world map have far-reaching consequences. I'm not going to spoil too much of what that means, but it is awesome, and it really means what I just said. Like, it is insane. Now, we're moving on to story and setting. The story of the game is its absolute strength in the heart of the game, and it's a better narrative fantasy game experience of the year. The land of Gergandal is similar in many ways to the worlds of other seminal fantasy stories, and it features many of the same races and stereotypes you would expect from most games. The story's primary plot is a fairly standard foray into the world of sinister baddies, loyal allies, and an ordinary person that rises to become an extraordinary hero, even though he's a little bitty one. However, with these familiar genre confines, the game's Dwarven perspective provides a refreshing twist on the convention. Hyde's story is predictable but engaging and supremely fun along the way, in the vein of many of R.A. Salvador's D&D novels. The characters are lively and all crafted to the genre's conventional perfection, which most people don't put the main characters, just like Watch Dogs 1. Everyone can go back to this game. Most people, when they craft a story, they leave the character bland because they're too focused on the game world or anything else around them, which is very disappointing. The villain is villainous, the boisterous friend is lovable as much as obnoxious, and the dialogue between them is all well written. Can't talk tonight, boys. and humorous. And what I mean is, the best game to go to for an example for this, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, is The Last of Us. The characters felt real. The dialogue felt funny. It felt amazing. And yada, and yada, and yada, and yada, and yada. The story revolves around a dwarf named Tungdal, who has never met any other of his own kind, and is sent on an errand that changes his life. He is whisked away to a world of plots, far-reaching consequences, and the game events that follow along. So with the novel, so those familiar with the work will know what to expect as it progresses. Along the way, you will make certain story choices, but they won't have dramatic impacts on how the game resolves, as it does tend to stick to the novel's core plot. Which was a little bit disappointing on that end, even though if you read the novel, which I haven't myself personally, which after playing the game kind of makes me want to, which is always weird because watching the Maze Runner movies made me read the Maze Runner books, and Divergent, and if so on and so forth. Harry Potter movies, Harry Potter, which I read Harry Potter books first. But I love choices in games that matter, and the biggest playthrough to go towards with this is Telltale games. When you make a choice in The Walking Dead, is it going to screw you over? Is that character going to come back? Or is it going to hate you? Are people going to turn on you? I just love that dynamic. It makes a game outstand other games like The Last of Us. Like, you couldn't make choices really, but you just felt like when something happened, it really, really happened, and you were in those shoes, man. Like, I love that. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to the gameplay section. The game alternates between a board game-like overworld map where you move your band of heroes from point A for real-time, from point to point to a real-time down perspective where you all engage in the game's battles and deeper exploration. For the most part, this combination works and is fun to switch in and out of. When exploring the overworld, you move your piece from node to node, just like chess, kinda, stopping along the way at towns, inns, and other points of interest. At these points of interest, the game will prompt you with events that are occurring and give you a few choices. Remember, few. You can make on how to proceed. You can opt to move on and ignore the situation. You can dig deeper, having conversation, explorations, and I highly recommend when it prompts you to do something, do it. You don't want to breeze through the game, and I'm not going to say how long the game actually was, or I'm not going to tell you how long it was yet. It was decently lengthy for the price of the game, and for being involved with the characters as long as you were. The exploration is extremely fun and has its own management element where you have to procure provisions to endure the travels, and it delivers a bit of fun anticipation when you land on a new node and wonder what you might incur next. At these points, these events will trigger either combat or a deeper bit of the story and exploration opportunities. The reason I say do this because it's always fun to level up because it's an RPG. RPG, you have to rank up. You have to grind out some way. But I love doing the side missions like this because you learn more bits of the story, and that's why I love collectibles that make you read or gives you part of the story. It's an optional read, whether you have to read it now or you go back after the game. I always go back and read half the stuff after the game. When this happened, let's see. I made a bullet point list. I'm sorry, guys. These large game engagements are where the gameplay suffers some. As the camera can't be manipulated to survey the battlefield as effectively as possible, managing your heroes can be tricky because it's easy to lose them in the middle of fracas, and their AI tends to idle if not being actively directed. You have to be constantly managing your party, directing them around the battlefield, telling them how and when to use their skills. At least they stand around. The combat can be challenging, however, so those expecting to walk in the park should be prepared for some surprisingly overwhelming odds and a few deaths along the way. Just with any game, when you learn, like, we'll go Final Fantasy, newer ones, because Final Fantasy, I forget, I think it was 9 and under? I can't remember when it switched, because I stopped playing after 8, but I did watch videos. The combat system used to be turn-based, and with turn-based, it was, let's see, the best way to put it. You could, if myself, Raw Danger, wanted to attack Guy B, I would have a time bar, and when that hits, I could attack, I could heal, I could flee. You could do what you need to do when you need to do it. And just like any other game, this is what you're going to have to do right now. You're just going to have to figure out what works for you, how to manage your time, and make sure no one dies. But, I mean, it's not as hard as you would think. You just really got to take your time and pay attention. Exploration is fun, although not entirely rewarding as far as itemization goes, of which there isn't much. Exploring the environment looking for clues opens up further narrative rewards and really gives the story an opportunity to shine. Players who want to grant great yarn will find a lot to love here, but if you're more of the loot hound type, this game probably is not going to have to satisfy your instincts. Like I said, I'm more of a guy that wants to learn story than going out and getting the ultimate upgraded dually / shotgun / nuke / I'm gonna kick your motherfucking ass. But if you're a person that really likes to dwell in the stories and read and really get yourself sunk into the fiction or the fantasy or the RPG or become an inner dwarfen, then stick around and try the game out yourself. The RPG system in the game is quite light. You level your character up by earning experience from completing quests and killing enemies, and as you level up, you can choose between a couple of skills. You wind up with a handful of skills at your disposal, and that's about it. The skills themselves can be really gratifying, especially when you're sweeping a bunch of orcs off of a bridge to their deaths, or charging through a mass of foes like a heroic battering ram. The system suits the story and not vice versa, and they're mostly to give some semblance of progression. And the reason I think the developer did this was because they're dwarves, man. How much can they actually do? And you think about it this way, which really makes sense, especially if you go read the novels and stuff like that. For dwarves, like I said, I haven't personally read it. I did look them up and try to skim over the pages, because if I give a review, I try to actually give you guys a review the best I possibly can. And I'm working on these reviews and making them progressively better each time. Hopefully you let me know in the comment section below. But dwarves aren't goblins and Sauron or fucking Harry Pecker. I mean, they're short, they're stout, and all they've got is their wits and what they level up with. Now we're going to move on to the design of the game, and we're about to wrap this up. The game has impressive visual design elements for a smaller release. The art style is not hyper-real and is instead a more whimsical fantasy art style that really suits the narrative and setting. I really like the art style. As you can see from the gameplay I put and the gameplay trailer that I've broken up for the background of the sake of this video, it's really nice, and it suits a Dwarven narrative fantasy RPG game. The animated cutscenes are really well done, and the game's menus and map all have a very pleasing visual design. The music is also very well done and appropriate for the game, and it provides a good backdrop to the experience. Most games' music is bland. One of the best in the longest time is The Last of Us. When that noise comes on, you know what game it goes to. When you hear the Master Chief logo or the sound, you know what it goes to. You know what I'm saying? When a game has good music, you know that game just by the sound. The recorded dialogue and narration is simply impressive and was never annoying or eye-rolling. I laughed a whole lot at the banter between the characters, and if you pay attention to every cutscene and listen to every piece of narration, I find myself really getting into and enjoying the experience, and I was pleased with how much I invested in the story and how the story actually played out. The combination of good writing with good delivery made me want to explore and see as much as I could. Now, I know I made some strong bullet points, and I made some high-end or lower-end bullet points, but that doesn't mean the game was terrible. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gave this a 7. To summarize it, a run romp through a world where dwarves take the lead role. The great writing and dialogue make it for the lack of itemization RPG elements. Combat management can be tricky, but the few skills in the game have some fun application. Anyone looking for a break from some of the more grueling mechanics of hardcore RPGs, aka hashtag Dark Souls, hashtag Super Suck It, will find an engaging story-focused journey through an idyllic fantasy landscape. I gave the gameplay a 6.5. I give audio and visual an 8. Replayability is a 6.5 because, I mean, you can only grind and replay through games so many times. I think I'm on my 17th playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, all the Resident Evils. It just depends on your type of person and your type of game. Story and setting I gave, just like audio and visual, I give it an 8. Price point's a 7 because it's decently linked for your game and all that. So that's why the game got an overall 7. Alright guys, I hope this review really helped you out with wanting to try out Dwarves and everything else, as always, I'm going to leave a link in the description below where you can snag a good discounted price on Dwarves from Games Planet. It's currently on sale, as always, where if you click my link, you get an even bigger sale on it. Right now, it's 15% off the normal price. It's €33.99, and it's for PC, Mac, and Linux. All you got to do is add it to your cart, use my link, and then bada bing, bada boom. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this review and it really helps you out, please drop a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, helps me out on Games Planet, and helps Games Planet grow. Until next time, I'm Raw Dog, and I am out.
We got Jeff Star, 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 we got